What's up, y'all? It's another day here at this Thousand Trails Park. Kira wants to get outside. The weather is warming up. It's been down in the 30s, but now it's going to be up in the 70s, maybe even 80s. I need to get some work done on the RV, but let's start with getting Kira's bike down so she can have some fun. Here you go, Kira. It's getting muggy out here. So these cross beams here are about 1 foot behind the rear axle. And I do not see the external sensor here. Cable's there for the sensors on the tank. Looks like a cable pull for one of the, like whatever that dark cable is right there. That could actually be cable for a TV. Oh, it's hard to say exactly which one that is. Honestly, that is probably these cable pulls right here for the gray or the black tank. That's honestly what that is. It is not 1 foot from the axle. Let's go back and look over here. So right in front of the spare tire, I was able to find the external sensor, which connects with this triangle shaped connector. The cable is covered in some plastic. Hard to see how far that goes up. Like I said, I've ordered the part. We will just have to take it from there and see, once I replace that, if everything begins to work as normal. So this is the kind of panel. I tried to make a cut that would allow for it to come down easily. It can be taped back up. This is the kind of thing that I wish that the manufacturer would do. I like one of the other brands is now doing something like this, where they're using the same kind of material, but they're screwing it in place with a seal, and then they let you know what's behind those panels so that you can get up there and fix them. Wishful thinking, I guess. After finding the external sensor and completing that task, it's sprinkling out there. And it's the most bizarre sense of zen I've had. Somebody said in a video yesterday, they like my zen. Thank you, Douglas. That was actually a really cool compliment. I don't know if zen is the right word for right now. Serenity? Am I having serenity? I now know where the sensor is. I'm prepared to swap out the part when it arrives. I won't have to pay an exorbitant fee to get this fixed. So right now, while it's just a light sprinkle, I can just lay here using Kira's pool noodle as a pillow. The last time when I crawled under here with Sam while we were at Jellystone, we spent a solid hour, I think, trying to search for this external sensor, and by the time I was done, it was the next 2 days. My neck was so sore from holding my head up off the ground while we crawled around under here. So I had that in mind, and I was looking for my knee cushion, which I could not find. I found Kira's pool noodle, which they're cheap. If I wreck it, I can easily replace her pool noodle. But it was here and ready to go. So now look, I can lay here in serenity while the rain sprinkles outside, knowing that I now know where the external sensor is so I can fix it. Serenity now. I do want to thank God for directing me to get down here when I got down here, to cut where I cut. Okay, I say many times, I ask for God's guidance as I make decisions, and I don't make those decisions on my own. yes, my hand is doing the motion, but if I would have cut about 6 inches to a foot more to my right, I think I would have torn a hole in the heater ducting. I cut where I cut. Why did I pick that exact spot? I mean, it was kind of educated. I was further down from an existing hole and I could see a wire going in that general direction, so I had a general idea of where I wanted to be. Hey, Kaylin's back. Skittle. Hey, pretty girl. Hi, Skittle. Yes, successful day. I found the external sensor, the plastic. I was worried that the wires would be just kind of out in the open, moving from the back all the way up to the front, but they have a nice plastic sheathing around them. So that is awesome. So that's the external sensor for the Lippert Ground Control 3.0. I located it. If you have an open range 374 BHS, it's approximately 3.5 feet behind the rear axle and about 2 feet in front of where the spare tire goes up. So just a little bit in front of the spare tire. I've laid down there, had to crawl around. There was existing holes, which we were peeking in before, but based on information that I got from some imagery from Sean over at RV Nomadic Living, when he replaced his black tank gate valves, I got kind of a better idea of what I was looking for. So I went back to some of the existing holes that were already there, pulled the Gorilla tape back off, got a good light, my magnetic rechargeable lights that I love that are so bright, and shoved them up there. I was able to pull down enough to look up in there and see some wires coming down, and I knew it needed to be by like a cross brace. So I made kind of an educated decision based on where that wire was and made a cut. And you got to be careful because I got real close to cutting one of the PEX pipes. Where the PEX pipes are your plumbing. So probably the pipes that were running to the outside kitchen, they're really close to where this is at. So be careful, as well as the heater ducting was right there. So be careful with your cutting. I used a box cutter on I started it by using just the tiniest little part sticking out. You see that? Well, see how little I put it out, and it's locked in position. Now that did not cut all the way through the plastic, but what it did for me was it allowed me to kind of trace or pre-trace my line. And then that way when I went back and I put it out about that much, I wasn't having to put as much pressure and draw my first line. It was already kind of started for me. You know, I did get real close to hitting one of those PEX pipes and I was able to stop. It's like, okay, there's something there, stop, without having to keep going. I think if I would have just gone this method right from the get-go, I might have cut one of those PEX pipes. Now, as I was talking with Sam, who has been under the belly of my RV with me, trying to help me find this before, we were just chatting. He said one of the things he's learning about right now in RV repair, check all your connections. He's saying that that is one of the biggest things that goes wrong with a lot of the appliances. A lot of the connections wind up just getting a little bit loose. A lot of that stuff is hard to find. So that's a big part of it. It's not where the everyday person is going to see those connections. So sometimes that's what we need the tech for, is just to even find them. If you're able to get under there and you're able to find this stuff, just try unplugging and reseating and making sure it's a secure, good connection, so that way you can make sure that your stuff is working properly. I think that our wiring is okay. The replacement external sensor is still coming. So I will replace that part on Sam's recommendation. I am going to also go into the very front storage, find where the main computer is, where there's also a sensor there. The error would be different if it was that sensor that had gone bad. Check the connections and make sure they're all seated nicely together so that there's nothing loose there. It's just being thorough to make sure we're checking everything. It's getting a little bit late in the day today. I've already had quite the busy day. It's not necessary that I go do that right now. And I still haven't gotten to the light. The light, I need to get it done before we leave here, and I feel I've got time still. It's always the way. Everything keeps moving back. It's like, hey, you need to do the bearings on your wheels. Move that back because something else more important came. It's the way of the RV life. My tools of choice today are the pool noodle. This pool noodle came in very handy as it was my pillow for my head as I laid down there. And then this excellent box cutter. Just love the ability to lock it in at certain levels. This is Tanya's, can you tell? She wanted to make sure everybody knows this is Tanya's. Thank you, Tanya, for letting me use your box cutter. It's very handy. That is a huge weight off my shoulders. Hopefully the part's gonna get here real soon and I can get down there and get that replaced. And honestly, I mean, we're not fully level, so as soon as it comes in, should I level with the slides out? I've never thought about that. I mean, I guess it would work, right? Why wouldn't it? I better ask some people, make sure I don't mess that up. It should work. Can't imagine why that wouldn't work. Why would that not work? By the way, the storage is right there. I just pool noodle in the storage. It's always emotional days. It's always emotional. It was an emotional day. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Emotional day. I'm thankful. Pray about this stuff. Things work out right. Is everything perfect? Nope. Nope. Still have a lot to do. A lot to catch up on. We get to the important things as they're needed. Thankfully that I'm able to crawl around down there, take care of this. I sure wish I could have done it while we had a cement pad. I don't mind parking on gravel. I have no problem with that, but it would have been a lot easier on a cement pad to be able to. I wonder if I could have rolled around on Kaylin's skateboard. That would have been a trip. That might have raised me up too much though. Well, Kira got her bike. I escorted her up to the very front. This park is huge. All of her friends wound up with cement pads at the very front of the park. She loves hanging out with these kids. Escorted her up there. They stayed up there for a while. The parents are watching over her, making sure that she's okay. They're watching a movie together as friends. I'm gonna go up there on a bike, escort her back, make sure she makes it back safely. Like I said, it's a really big park. We kind of set some boundaries, don't go beyond this point. So it's a little disappointing that all the friends wound up all the way up there. We'll have to see how the boundaries work. This park is a very busy park, but it actually has a manned gate. That provides a little bit of comfort. They're pretty much watching 24/7 who's coming and going out of the park. It's still a lot of people here. A lot of people. Well, we thank y'all so much for watching our video. Hopefully I can give you a nice update. I'm a little wary about bringing the nice camera that you're watching me on right now under the belly, because it's tight. I'm moving around a lot. I'm worried that I might do some damage to the camera, as it is considerably expensive. I don't want to put it at risk, so that's why I've primarily just been using footage from my phone while I'm down there. Maybe I should use the GoPro for that. I'm not a huge fan of the GoPro, just because of the way that the field of view is. The focus and the color, just not that great. But it's good in certain cases. And it's got I've got the grabber, although I was just looking for the grabber and I can't find it. But I should be able to at least grab it or clip it onto something like a stabilizer, and then it'd be able to just kind of show me as I'm working all my mess ups. All right, well, we'll see how that goes. I'll see if I can find the grabber. It would be nice to be able to share with y'all the process of replacing this, because I know I'm not the only DIY person out there. I know Sean likes to do DIY, and I've met a few other people that have models like we do that do DIY on their own RV. I'm happy that I can be able to share this with anybody if they need to change this out, because it's a frustrating error when you're trying to hitch up and go, or you need to set up somewhere and it's like, you need to take it to a dealer. I don't have time in my life to take it to a dealer. Thank y'all so much for watching our videos. We appreciate y'all very much. We hope that y'all will keep watching our videos. Give us a thumbs up when you like it. If you don't like it, give us a thumbs up, give us a thumbs down twice. Remember that life happens. You've been crawling around in the gravel under your RV. Don't let it stop you. Stay fresh, cheese bags.